Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. Today we're reviewing the 2020 Kia Sorento. This Kia Sorento and other great cars are available for sale at AKAGERA Motors Rwanda. I'll leave a link to their website in the video's description, and they are the exclusive distributor of Kia and other brands you already or will be seeing on the channel very soon. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact them. The 2020 model year is the third generation, debuted in 2015 and went through a mid-cycle refresh in 2018. A completely redesigned Sorento may be coming next year in 2021. Without further ado, here's the key fob with the lock, unlock and trunk release button. While this car does not have welcome lights like we saw on the Nissans, it has something way cooler I'll be showing you in a second. This car is equipped with keyless entry system, and the button on the door handle locks and unlocks the car. And another way in which you can unlock the car is when you have the key fob in your possession and the car is locked. Just walk up to the car and it will automatically unlock. The cool feature I mentioned is on the front door handles we have LED lights that light up when you unlock the car. Almost the same idea as Nissan's welcome lights, but with much cooler application. The interior of this vehicle is as stunning as the exterior, with 7 leather seats and leather lining throughout the cabin and a little bit of plastic surfaces. On the driver door we have the usual power mirror controls, power door locks, power windows, and all 4 windows are one-touch automatic. There are also backlit Sorento door seals. When you get inside the car and close the door, the car welcomes you with a short animation and an accompanying sound. To fire up the engine, you press a button, and when you do, there's this cool system check animation that plays in the instrument cluster, and maybe it's most likely for show, but it's cool nevertheless. No special animation for the infotainment screen, just a prompt that reminds you not to be distracted by the screen. With that said, let's turn on the headlights, fog lights, high beams as well as the hazard lights, and take a quick look around the vehicle. To the left side of the steering wheel we have a fuel cap release button, and further below there's a hood release latch. You can also see the foot mounted parking brake. As I exit with the key fob, the car will chime for like 6 seconds to alert me that it has lost proximity to the fob. Up front we have projector headlights, high beams and fog lights, and halogen turn signals as well as LED daytime running lights. There are also front and rear parking sensors. The power plant in this car is a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder, putting out 234 horsepower and 166 pound-feet of torque. Kia recommends that you refill with Total Parts engine oil. This car carries Kia's KIA nose grille that they adapted and used since 2006. This car is riding on 235 by 60 with 18-inch alloy wheels, and a full-size spare tire is provided. Round the back we have LED taillights, halogen turn signals and halogen reverse lights. The exterior of this car is finished in a metallic grey color, and Kia calls it Metostream. The 2 front seats are power operated, and you can move them forward or backward. You can also adjust the height of the seat. You can also control the recline angle, and the driver's seat also adds lumbar support. Next up is the infotainment, and in this car is a 7-inch LCD display. Quick action buttons on the left side include radio, media, sync, track as well as a power and volume knob. On the right side we have a home button, phone button, favorite setting button, setup button, and a radio tune knob. Media sources in this car are AM, FM, auxiliary, USB, and Bluetooth, and this car also supports Android Auto as well as Apple CarPlay. On the home screen, we'll have current audio source on the left, Apple CarPlay or Android Auto on the right, and below that is a number of menus that we'll get to in a minute. The Star Label button on the right side is a custom menu button, and it can be set to do different tasks from the settings. Back to the home screen, we'll go to all menus where we'll find a couple of menus, my favorite of which is voice memo. You also have a quick user guide integrated in the infotainment screen, which is a brilliant idea. You can also set personalized menu items through the My Menu tab, and under Apps and Information tab you'll find Apple CarPlay and the quick user guide. Next up, we'll move on to the Settings or Setup tab. Here we'll find the sound settings, and you can set exactly where in the car you want the sound to be focused. You also have the ability to adjust the touch feedback volume or turn it off completely. You can also adjust how loud you want the phone projection services to be. That's Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You can adjust the media volume, the navigation guidance voice volume, as well as the ringtone. In the tone settings, you can adjust the bass, mid-range, and treble of the car. In the priority section, we have two adjustments. You can enable the backup warning priority, and this lowers all other volumes in the car when you shift into reverse so that you can better hear the parking sensor beep. Next, you can enable the startup volume limit, and this lowers the radio and media volumes to the factory set maximum limit when you start up the car. In the advanced section, you'll find the speed dependent volume, and this will increase the volume as you speed up. Next up, we have display settings, and in the display settings we have a few options. In the display mode, we have daytime and nighttime viewing modes or automatic. Next is the brightness adjustment, and it can be linked to the instrument cluster dimmers. From the settings, you can also turn off the display with the display off button. Next, we have Bluetooth settings and phone projection settings, where you can enable or disable Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. After that, we have home screen settings, and you can change what displays on the home screen. We also have the usual date and time settings in this car, and after that we have a few language options. On the second page of the settings, we have screensaver settings. We have two options for what is displayed on the screen when it is turned off or when the car is not turned on. Under the advanced settings is where you can change what the custom menu button does. You can also select what media sources you want the mode button on the steering wheel to cycle through. That wraps up everything about the infotainment system in this car, and it is a very nice system, very intuitive and very responsive to your touch. In this car, we also have a 2-zone automatic climate control, and we have vents in the second and third row seats as well. All the climate control buttons are easily reachable and very readable. We have huge temperature knobs on the left and right, with automatic and sync functions integrated in both respectively. We have controls for your fan speed and a button to turn on or off the third row climate controls. There's also a button for your air direction, and the front and rear defrosters are included with the climate controls. Below the climate controls, we have buttons for the 3-stage cooled or heated front seats. Below that, we'll find a small storage area covered by this lid. Inside, we'll also find a cigarette lighter, an auxiliary port and a USB port, as well as a 12-volt power outlet. Further below, to the far left, we'll have two cup holders with a removable ashtray. There's also a lid that closes the cup holders when they are not in use. Moving on, the transmission in this car is an 8-speed automatic transmission with manual shiftability, and shift into reverse to reveal the backup camera with guidance lines. Behind the gear lever we have 3 buttons, and the one on the right is the parking sensor on or off button. In the middle we have a center differential lock button, and on the left we have a drive mode selector button. There are 3 drive modes in this car, and first is comfort, second is eco, and third is sport. Below the center armrest we have a deep storage area and a removable tray. Moving on to the steering wheel controls, on the left spoke we have a voice command button, media control buttons, and buttons for the Bluetooth hands-free operation. On the right spoke we have cruise control buttons and controls for the instrument cluster display. Speaking of which, there are 3 main screens. First is fuel economy, second is all-wheel drive, and third is user setting. Under fuel economy we have average fuel consumption and trip information. There's also a digital speed readout. This Sorento is a full-time 4-wheel drive, and this screen shows how much power is being sent to each individual wheel. Next, in the user settings we have door settings, and here you can change when the door will lock or unlock automatically. Next we have a few light settings. After the light settings we have sound settings, and in here you can change the loudness of the parking sensor beeps. You can also enable or disable the welcome sound that we heard earlier. From the convenience settings you can turn on or off the welcome lights that I showed you earlier on the door handles. And apart from convenience settings, you can also set service reminders or maintenance reminders. In the others section you can change the units of measurement and reset the fuel economy information. Behind the steering wheel on the left side we have the usual control stock for the automatic headlights, fog lights, and turn signals. And on the other side we have the usual front and rear windshield wiper control stock. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, all 4 windows are one-touch automatic. And also both side mirrors are power foldable, and they are power adjustable as well. Up ahead in the headliner we have the usual reading lights or dome lights, and they are touch activated. They can also be set to turn on when doors are open. Apart from the dome light we also have a sunglass holder. To the left of the steering wheel we have a traction control off button and the usual instrument cluster dimmers, and as you adjust you can see exactly how dim you have set it through the instrument cluster screen. Let's turn off the engine, and as we power off the engine, the car says goodbye with another joyful musical piece. This car is equipped with the manually adjustable tilt and telescopic steering wheel, and as I adjust the steering wheel you can hear some chimes in the background, and this car has some of the best chimes I've ever heard in cars. Moving on to the second row, in this car we have tinted privacy windows for the second and third row seats, and we have built-in sunshades for the second row seat windows. Inside we'll find 2 cup holders integrated in the middle seat of the second row bench. On the headliner we have the usual reading lights. There are also 2 climate vents for the second row seat occupants, and below that we have a USB and 12-volt power outlet for the second row seat occupants. Around the back we'll find the reverse camera that I showed you earlier in the infotainment screen. Using the button on the key fob will unlock the tailgate, and no, this does not have a power tailgate. Also note that you do not need to press the button on the key fob as long as you have the key fob nearby. Back here we'll find the 2 third row seats that also fold flat into the loading floor, and to fold them just pull the loop and push them forward. On either side of the car we have a lever that folds the second row seat as well without having to move back up front. And as I mentioned earlier, we have climate controls for the third row seat occupants as well. Under the floor we find the tire changing equipment and what appears to be a first aid kit or user manual. Underneath the vehicle we'll find the full-size spare tire. Moving on to the front passenger side of the vehicle, we'll find the keyless entry button on the door handle, and the front passenger seat is also power adjustable. Inside we'll find the usual glove box, and inside the glove box we'll find the user manual. There's also a light inside the glove box that will help you with visibility at night. There are two sun visors with the integrated vanity mirrors, and those vanity mirrors have accompanying lights. That's all for today's video, and thank you very much for watching. And quick reminder, I'll be doing more and more car reviews very soon, so please subscribe so you won't miss a thing, and don't forget to like and share this video with your friends. See you next time.